Hi everyone, Pedro here, showing you a brand new plugin from Universal Audio, Paradise Guitar Studio, a one-stop solution to give you the guitar tones of your dreams. We have 6 amplifiers ready for you to start browsing and playing around, including our revered Enigmatic 82. On top of that, you can fully customize your tones with 25 effects, ranging from compression, modulation, distortion, delays, reverbs, and you have 35 speaker and microphone combinations to then finalize the perfect tone that you have in your mind. You have 300 presets to pick from. Let's have a look and dive right in. I have Jack Griffiths with me today. That's going to be delivering some power riffs for us and everything else in the middle.
Some guitar playing.
Some guitar playing, let's leave it at that.
Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so you've had a little bit of a play already with the Paradise Guitar Studio. So what are your first impressions?
Well, I've been waiting for this because what we did before was talk about when Universal Audio released the individual amp types as standalone plugins, which is fantastic. And that was such a great springboard. For me as a guitar player who likes to record as simplistically as possible, that's great because the core tones are all there. What I would still find myself doing though is, I just get so used now to, we're so spoiled as guitar players where you have all these different products that kind of encompass the full signal chain in one thing. So I would find myself using those plugins for the amplifiers, but then maybe relying on certain outboard effects pedals or post-processing for reverbs, delays and stuff. Finally now it's all in one place.
Yes.
So that's what I'm really enjoying using Paradise for, and I'm sure a lot of other guitar players are going to find the same thing, because it's just super easy, as you said, to either start with the presets, or just pick your favorite amp and start building slowly from there.
The first example you just heard is of the Enigmatic 82, which is now available within the plugin environment, joining the its companions over here. Let me just quickly bring that up so you can see it. So joining Dream 65, Lion 68. So you can now easily just pick your amplifier as the building block and kind of work around that, then adding effects pre the amplifier and afterwards to then just maybe place that sound into a room, make it bigger. Actually, that takes me to a little bit of a question I have for you. Are you more of a delay pre the amplifier or after the amplifier, and why does it matter?
Well, it matters a lot because depending on what you're doing with the amp, a lot of people will find that you want to get your drive tones from the amplifier itself. And if you're doing that with either Enigmatic is great for that, or Lion is kind of my go-to for if I want a little bit of crunch from the amp, whether you place your time-based delays or reverbs, if it's before the amp, I personally love it. It's a sound, I know you love it as well.
Yeah.
It's a sound that it's way more kind of explosive and interacts with the way you play, and it's very dependent on your dynamics as a player. If you have it post the amplifier, it's kind of the sound that maybe we're a bit more used to, in that it's cleaner.
Yeah.
It's a little more subtle. So I find that you can use it almost as an instrument when it's pre the amplifier as opposed to post the amplifier. The great thing about this is that you can very easily audition the same type of effect in either of those slots and just figure out what works for you.
So you were telling me earlier that out of the Enigmatic, one of your favorite options is the cream. So let's start where we are right now, which is the suede. So everybody can... Did I say that right? Is it suede or
suede?
Suede. I always confuse that one. That just throws me away. Anyway.
Close enough.
Close enough. Let's start over here so we get a feel for where we are. So we're going to switch to your favorite now.
When you say favorite, I mean... It's,
I threw you there.
It's nitpicking, really. So what this is, if anyone's familiar with the hardware versions of UA's amp pedals, the UA effects, the Enigmatic has switchable in the app 4 different models of this particular amplifier. And when I say models of, it's like they vary in their power supplies and their power sections. So this is an even more simplistic way of jumping between those 4 different amps. And they've just termed it very helpfully with colors instead of like, this is a 100-watt stiff power supply.
Yes. So it's just
you don't really have to understand it. You just have to pick your favorite
a
color.
bit more, yeah. Well, it just makes it easier to navigate, especially if you're not super familiar with this type of amplifier. But fret not, because if you really like to get, with the nitty gritty and fully customize everything, that is hidden here on plain sight under the customized circuit. You have all the extra, little bits to fully go down the rabbit hole of tone shaping. And
So this model of amplifier was completely bespoke to the player. It was customizable completely, hence the customized circuit option. And again, this was all in the app for the UFX version.
yeah, and
Here it's just software. It's really
absolute
easy
plain sight.
to tweak.
So we got now our bass tone, and we're gonna start by adding a little bit of delay. So if you look at the signal path we got going on, we got the input section, then we have everything that will go into the amplifier that we're just looking at, and afterwards we can make that sound, like I said, kind of put it in the space, or maybe EQ it, compress it, and you got some familiar faces here in compressor land. You have the 1176 compressor. So this is where those 25 effects I was talking about initially will come into play. We jump back into adding a delay. We already have some options in here. If you want to navigate, see what else is available, you can see they've been divided into categories. You can easily just go into delays, and those are all the delays we have going on. We feeling okay with the analog memory delay, or you want to go?
Yeah, I'm a tape guy. I like tape echo, particularly for being pre-amplifier. And can I just say something important before we delve into this?
Yeah.
Gain structuring.
Yes.
Is super important with this. So obviously it's to taste, but to get the best effect out of this, I find gain at 0 on your interface, and the level of the input there is at 12 o'clock, and that's the perfect starting point.
Yeah.
So that's just important to note that, because you might find I'm not getting the same kind of clean tones at the same kind of headroom. That's probably where you want to look first.
Yes.
And indeed, if you have that set too high, these effects will sound a bit weird.
Yeah, because you're driving a little bit. You're singing a little bit too hard. And then just to carry on the signal path, on the other side of the chain, we have the output section, which includes a limiter, so you don't need to worry about, clipping the output of your interface or anything like that. So we got, covered the whole signal structure from beginning to end. So we pick that tape echo. Let's start hearing what's going on.
Sure.
Do have it. Yeah, just the tiniest. There you go.
There we go.
Come on, gotta love it.
I do love it. And the nice thing about this too is that it's tied to your DAW, or it can be synced with your DAW's settings.
So we currently unsynced because we were just, again, that's one of the things I love about this kind of emulation of analog delays. They were not necessarily, locked to a clock.
Yeah.
And I find that it's really interesting to play with that, to find different ways to emphasize the groove of your playing without necessarily going to sync to the tempo of your session. Again, the option is available. You can simply use whatever's more convenient to your playing, because sometimes having a nice sync delay, it really adds again to that groove. So we got this delay on the front end. We also have this drip 65 reverb that came along with the preset that we picked up. It was working off fine. So
I love a spring
we're gonna
in front of an amp.
Yeah.
Because what I was kind of alluding to earlier about how dynamic it is, when I dig in, if I play very soft, and then play hard, the reverb kind of goes with me, and it becomes part of the amplifier tone. If it's post, which we'll come on to later, it still sounds great, but it doesn't have that same kind of dynamic.
So let's go do just that. So on the post, we got some usual suspect. Keep in mind that with Paradise Guitar Studio, it's about delivering a record-ready sound. That's why after the amplifier, having like a studio EQ or something like an 1176 compressor, you will be immediately crafting the tone so it sits perfectly within the arrangement that you are working with.
Yeah.
And they still maintain that kind of feel of a guitar stompbox where you can just kind of press down there, you know, like as if you were stepping on it. I love that little touch. And we have another 3 slots available. We are containing what was coming out of the amplifier with a little bit of compression. The EQ is there at this point, not doing much. We're going to just let it sit pretty.
Yeah.
Although we could, you know, maybe, I don't know, I like to do this kind of stuff. Do you also find it that removing some of that low end just...
I find that I tend to make the same adjustments all the time. So I'll get my tone crafted with the pre section and the amp. Then when I've finished recording whatever the part is, that's when this post section comes into play.
Got it.
And what I find often is I always need to add a bit more mid, cut some lows, and usually cut some highs. That's what that studio EQ is perfect for.
Yeah.
And it's quite subtle, and you don't necessarily notice it so much in the feel when you're playing it, but you really hear it once, like you're listening back to a part.
Yeah.
So maybe if I play something and you turn that on and off, it's going to be subtle, but it's going to make the guitar sit in just the right place for a mix, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just added a little bit of a cut as well on the lower. We may just, yeah, that feels all right about that. Let's go in. Up, you know,
it just gets rid of some of the mess that it feels great when you're playing it in isolation. As soon as you try and put that into a mix,
that's such a great point, isn't it?
You just want rid of that stuff.
Yeah, because again, with guitar, especially, well, any instrument to be fair, like it's easy to lose sight that at the end of the day, all those elements need to work in context.
Yeah.
So when you're crafting a tone, it's easy to get it carried away, and all the frequencies are there, and it feels amazing. But once you start to add all the rest of the elements, it's a lot of energy that the guitar occupies.
Yeah.
So.
And that can be overwhelming as a guitar player. If you're not used to kind of working that way, that's what I was saying before, like I'd find, okay, the amp sounds great, and now my tone's getting lost or something when I'm trying to apply it to a song. Then you have to go hunting for other plugins or outboard gear to try and squeeze the guitar, manipulate it in a way that makes it work. That's exactly what this is for, is to just be a one-stop shop. Everything that you need to make the part work is built in.
Now, carry on with our theme that we are going on about. Perhaps that now we have the tone, we want to place it in a space. We could either use delay to make this bigger and bounce. The signal kind of moves around the stereo field and becomes a little bit more diffused with something like a ping pong delay. Bit of fun with that. I love the fact when you load the plugin, you can immediately start kind of doing some tweaks on the fly to start to kind of getting in the zone of how that this choice we've just done is suiting everything else.
Yeah.
We did have a little bit of reverb, that spring on the way in, but what if we went with a digital reverb and go with a space or a church or a hall, just to make it then, again, just adding that extra dimension. So all of a sudden, we got the reverb going on. So once we have crafted our tone, we can then obviously get recording, finalize any further details if we may need to. Another big part of guitar recording and getting the tone is hidden in, you know, in plain sight right here. It's just
the cabin mics.
Cabin mics, yeah.
It's overlooked a lot, and what I find is similar to what I said about, like, you set your pre-effects and the amp type. That's the feel, and that's what you get, that feeling good. Anything after that, cabin mics and all those post effects are where you get it sounding right. And the great thing about this is that you can mix and match any of the amps with any of the cabs that have been released with any of the other amp types. So for example, this Enigmatic, unlike the pedal format where you're tied to those specific cabin mic combinations, you can put in cabs from Lion or from Dream or Woodrow or whatever. So you can really configure it in ways that you couldn't do before, and in ways that you would never think to either. For example, like having a high-powered, clean guitar amp through a tiny 1x12 or 1x10 or something.
Let's listen to that, yeah. And if we go back to more of a, yeah, just again, tiny changes, but on a 4x12, yeah, just the space you get, and yeah, it's without changing anything, just playing without
changing the cab.
Yeah, and it's so cool that every amplifier choice and combination of microphones that we got here, they all have a little bit of extra information, so you understand what's the logic behind of picking those specific amplifiers and those specific combinations of microphones.
Yeah.
On the theme of the signal path that we were discussing earlier, it's worth pointing out that with Paradise Guitar Studio, you do have the option to tell it how to operate. Let's say we're using maybe your favorite multi-effects or a stereo pedal into the interface, which is absolutely, fine. You can tell then the plugin to behave as something that will read that stereo information. It feeds it down the signal path, so you're running true stereo.
Yeah.
We today are running it mono in, and then it gets widened. Widen. Thank you. Come on, I need some English lessons. Widen.
Let's widen it up.
That's why when we played earlier, just briefly with that, ping pong delay, you all of a sudden felt like the information went from just having all happening here, it just got diffused by the delay being ping pong, which is quite obvious to notice, and also with the reverb. So it's quite nice that you have all those little things to, take full advantage of your signal path from beginning to end.
And when you do that too, every single component in the chain is a stereo instance of, so it's like everything is doubled up. So it maybe takes some more, it'll take some more CPU.
Yeah, you do get that.
But it's true stereo in every part of the chain, the amplifier, the pre-effects, and the post-effects.
This is also the section where you will decide if everything else should be synced to the DAW tempo or just manual. With guitars and creating a stereo guitar, that's quite that's a big subject. But you could approach it when you kind of just doing an initial arrangement. That's quite nice to have that little touch. But most of the time when we're doing guitar arrangement, chances are you will record everything in mono. Yeah. And then we start to make that stereo image by just panning things, hard left, hard right.
It's easy to get carried away. The stereo sounds so good.
Yes.
Especially with the instances of like the reverb we just had there and the ping pong delay. Maybe that's not actually going to work. Similar to what I said before about the EQ. Maybe you need more mids than you think, and you need to cut the lows and the highs. Same with stereo. Go easy on stereo.
Yeah, well,
Music
again,
in moderation, pinch of salt.
Yeah, but like you said, it's so satisfying. You just plug in, you got this big sound.
Yeah.
Especially now that we don't even have anything else for us to kind of bounce off.
You know my other favorite thing about this?
Go on.
The tuner.
I was about to say, shall we just talk about like the unspoken hero?
Basic utility stuff, right, is so often overlooked because sound is important, but in terms of being a one-stop shop for guitar, you have to be in tune.
I'm told that's important.
I'm told it's important very often. And that tuner works so well. It's like full, almost strobe level accuracy.
Yes. Yeah.
It mutes, so when you activate it, it mutes the channel by default.
Yeah, nice.
You can also have that little mini tuner option there, which means that you get a little graphic on the screen that still displays the tuner.
Yeah. So it's always
So even
there.
when it's off, I can still see how out of tune I am.
Yeah, guitars have a way to always want to be.
Yeah, they always slip in and I need to keep an eye on it. So that's what the mini tuner's for.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is really important. I know it sounds silly, but the fact that it's there and it's really good.
But keeps you in the zone, isn't it? You just don't need to be like loading other things. You're just crafting your tone and you just need to, that's it. All those little things that allow you to just remain creative and getting too carried away. As you can see, there's a lot to play within Paradise Guitar Studio. Yeah. But what about, let's listen to some examples.
We should play some guitar, really.
We might as well just play some guitar. What are you feeling? Like, should we go aggressive, overdrive, bright, crunch?
I think we should focus a little more on Enigmatic, being the new amp that you haven't heard in any other format before.
Okay.
All the other amplifier models in here have previously been released as their own plug-in variants. Enigmatic is brand new for Paradise. So maybe if we go back to turn off all those post effects.
Let's do that.
Which you can actually do just with, you can turn off the entire section at a time. Which is really good just to kind of cross-reference your tones. So the tone of the amp, and I guess we've still got the pre-effects there too, is this. super dynamic. Like there's so much headroom in that kind of guitar amp model that when I play soft, it's really sparkly clean. And if I dig in hard with a humbucking pickup, it's just starting to bark a little bit.
If we look at this section, the fact that we can then maybe add a little bit of that, I'm told that is something guitar players like to do, add a little bit of drive on.
We can.
You can see, you know, how it reacts and adds to.
So this is what I was saying
play.
before about you'd be relying on still adding some pieces of analog hardware or other plugins to get certain guitar-specific things like overdrive pedals, and it's in there, and there are actually quite a lot of useful drive tools. So that being like a TS-style overdrive.
You got so many other options. So if we focus on distortion, you got those extra.
My favorite's the Nashville overdrive. That's a real common kind of overdrive circuit these days.
Yeah.
For this reason, I mean, I don't know how this is going to sound based on the preset, but... Big fat sound.
Yeah, we got that bass cranked.
Yeah, you know, there's a lot of control there, so we can tweak either the overdrive itself, or tweak the amp, or tweak with an EQ in the post effects section.
Yeah. It's just you got so many options. So you can see how the name Paradise comes into shape, and the fact that you can just get carried away and just tweaking.
You know what else is really great with this? The modulation types that have been put in there as well. So I think UA have always done really great sounding plugins for post-processing, like choruses and room sounds, reverbs, even Leslie speaker cabinets, that kind of stuff. But guitar-specific, you have things like phase shifters, the Orange Phaser, you have the Trem 65, the Brigade Chorus, all these things that are staples in hardware guitar world, and now just ported over to software. The Phaser in particular sounds so good.
Let's put it on.
So I guess we'd want this to be pre.
Oh, you want it to be pre? There you go.
Can we put it before the reverb? And
let's
delay?
show that. Yeah, so as I've been loading different, options, you can obviously at any point move them around. So you want it to be like the first thing?
Yeah, the first thing. I mean, the nice thing is you can audition really quickly there. So if you want it pre-overdrive or post-overdrive, in fact, you could do it while I'm playing, I suppose.
Yeah.
So you can hear the difference.
I think I like it better after.
You would say that. I like it better.
Oh, we agree to
But
disagree.
that's the cool thing, is that it was that simple. To change that, and you really hear a drastic difference. So it's not like it's a static model. It's actually interacting with every part of the componentry in the circuit chain.
Here's an idea, okay? Why not we do a rapid fire of presets? I'm gonna just throw a random preset at you and just play. Another one.
Give us another.
Okay, broken computer. What's that? Wait, that's what I'm talking about.
That's the intro to the video, right?
Push showtime, what's that? That was really good. This Screamer Dreamer, I think we're gonna, there you go. It's amazing how much tone is hidden in the fact that it's just changing speakers. So we were building all of that off the same preset using the Dream 65 as the amplifier, but we just went on a little journey, just
changing the cabs.
Yeah, and it's just crazy how much that changes the whole
And to do
tone.
that in the real world, by the way,
Oh yeah,
is quite hard.
yeah.
I mean, we're surrounded by some guitar amps.
Yeah.
There's not one of those that weighs probably less than
Yes.
25 kilograms. You can do it with the click of a button, and it's a perfectly captured version of that cabinet with those mics as well.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to fine tune anything. Could we do the same thing but changing the amp type?
Sparky clean breakup.
Try that, yeah, okay. So we'll just switch to the different amp types and see
Yeah.
what difference that makes. So starting with the Ruby.
Talking about tone journey there.
Yeah,
That
I
was-
mean, radically different stuff, but just
Yeah.
showing again what doing the opposite does, sticking with the same cab.
Yeah.
So that in that case, that's one of the Ruby cabs,
Yes.
but with the 6 different amp types,
Because we can mix and match everything now.
totally different results. Yeah.
Yeah, so the fact that we went on that kind of tone excursion just by going between amplifiers, again, try to do that twice as fast in the, in the physical world.
In the physical world, that's hard.
Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, checking out the Paradise Guitar Studio. It's available right now at Plugin Boutique. Go and check it out.